Ah, yes, that gorgeous bare metal finish. When it's done nice, it'll turn a lot of heads. But line up 5 modelers and ask them the best way to paint a bare metal finish, and you'll get at least 6 answers, maybe more. Now, I was going for a nice, clean, and shiny Cold War icon, but I've fought this bare metal battle before. What I wanted was a simple and durable solution where I can mask and decal without any worries. Let me show you how I did it. I've always loved the look of bare metal airplanes, and I've painted them in all sorts of different ways, with varying levels of success. I'm not going to lie, bare metal requires a separate set of skills and a lot of patience. My first attempt when I was about 12 years old, it was a brush-painted vac form Thunderbolt, and I used some sort of rub and buff paint. No pictures of that abomination survive, and that's probably for the best. The next attempt was this old Hawk Thunderjet. It was the first time I ever used an airbrush, and I'm 84.2% sure the paint was Square Bottle Tester's silver enamel. Definitely better than the patchy Thunderbolt, but I don't know, it just ended up looking like silver paint. Many years later, when I got back into the hobby, I decided to try Alclad, and I have to say, I thought the Sabre turned out well despite some issues putting the decals on. Not bad, not bad. I also finished these Japanese fighters using Alclad paints. But the issue here was that the clear coats turned a rather convincing Alclad finish into a cloudy metallic paint. Later, I turned to Tamiya aluminum lacquers to give me a bulletproof method of bare metal finish, and while these paints are extremely easy to spray and mask and apply decals to, I still wasn't happy with the finishes they were giving me. But I should not have been so hard on myself because a good bare metal or natural metal finish is pretty hard to apply. And this is for a few reasons. The first is the age-old problem of using paint to replicate metal. The second reason is that depending on the paint used, the bare metal finish can be delicate and needs to be carefully sealed before it can be masked or have decals applied. And the last matter that needs to be considered is what kind of bare metal finish is going to be applied, because not all natural metal finishes are the same. Some are mirror-like, some less so. Some have all sorts of interesting shades of metal, and some are almost gray in their appearance. In my case, I'm going to be painting a CF-104 Starfighter for the 1960s, specifically a zipper based in Europe that stood on alert for nuclear strike. Yeah, you heard that right. Canada once had a nuclear strike mission. The idea of that is so odd. But I'll discuss this more in a future full build video of the Kinetic CF-104. But for now, let's just worry about painting it. Ooh, shiny. Now, when it comes to publicity shots on military bases, the photographer will always be directed to the nicest, cleanest, most perfect planes. And true to form, every early CF-104 picture I found contained a spotless example. It's like they were washed and waxed after each flight. Let's take an even closer look. This plane was almost mirrored. You can see all sorts of things being reflected from the side of the fuselage. The top doesn't look as reflective, but that could be because of the angle, or maybe it's a bit worn down from the maintenance crew walking around there. I'm not sure. Here's another shot. Notice again, a very reflective surface, but take a look at the panel lines and access panels. It's very hard to make them out, and there isn't any grime collecting in there. Here we see it clean, maybe a bit more worn looking when not in the bright sunlight, but again, no dirt buildup, no emphasized panel lines. If you look towards the back, you'll see that there are various shades of metals, and I believe this is due to different materials being used for heat and structure requirements around the jet engine. So replicating this is not going to be a simple one color application. I'm going to have to mask several times and use several colors. I'll need something durable. More on that in a bit. First, we have to prepare this thing. Bare metal finishes are unforgiving. A metallic paint will transform any surface imperfection into a beacon of despair. but careful preparation will usually help the bare metal finish look great. This all starts with giving the model a thorough look over to find and polish out any sanding scratches, chocolatey fingerprints, glue oozes, or any other kind of oops that happen during constructions. Most modelers will spray on a primer to help with this. I wanted to limit the paint coats on the model, so I went over all my rescribing with NATO black paint and I corrected all the flaws. The next step is to paint a gloss black layer over the entire model. Now, I'm told that gloss black helps metallic colors appear more uniform and vibrant. I don't know the science behind it, but if you want the most reflective bare metal finish, you start with a glossy black surface. Normally, I'd be reaching for my trusty big needle siphon feed airbrush, but this time, I'm going to try something new. This is the GAD or GHAD 68 trigger airbrush. Galeri sent me this one to take for a spin, and I thought it would work nicely for this project. I'm going with the bigger 0.5 millimeter needle for a broad spray pattern. And I'm using Tamiya Gloss Black Lacquer with the air pressure dialed up slightly on my air compressor. I was worried that I'd have some difficulty using that trigger mechanism, but I'm able to control the trigger just as well as I can control the top button on my other airbrushes. This wider spray pattern is exactly what I need for this gloss black coat. As you can see, I got a nice uniform finish. Now, if I didn't get a perfect finish, it's no problem to gently polish out any blemish and then respray gloss black. It's the easiest fix in the world. Now, let's have some fun. As I said, there are a few different metallic paints, and I've tried them in the past, and I know I'm going to have to mask this model several times, so I needed something durable. I'm going to go with a few paints from the Vallejo Metal Colors line. I tried these paints before with the Blackbird project, and I really liked their durability and how easily they sprayed. There's no thinning required with these paints, but you do have to thoroughly shake the bottle before pouring it into the color cup. The chrome color is the most reflective in this line of paint, and once again, the larger needle gives a nice broad spray pattern. But a quick tip when using this paint. It's better to build the color in multiple light, quick passes rather than a slow, heavy pass. I ended up having to repaint a couple of the gear doors as I learned this technique. This gave me a very pretty, shiny, and somewhat reflective surface. Not a mirrored surface, mind you, but a reflective one, which I think is a little bit more realistic for Canadian starfighters in this era. And now, the true test. Masking on metallic paints. CF104s had some panels and surfaces with a greenish gray color. I found this mix online, and it's pretty much dead on. After carefully masking the nose and under the wings and the fin, I sprayed these on. Then I masked and I sprayed the black. And then the white. And then a few panels in the back with some other metallic colors in the Vallejo range. And then the beige panel behind the cockpit. Bit of an aside, but does anyone know why this part is a beige color? It seems to me someone could have run down a Canadian Tire to get some trim-clad silver to spruce that up, but I don't know, it just stands out like a sore thumb. If anyone knows, please let me know in the comments. Anyway, wouldn't you know it, the metallic paint stood up to the Tamiya tape every time. Nothing ripped up, nothing chipped, and there was no metallic paint that came off with the underside of the tape. Unlike this unsealed Alclad paint mule that I tested. Yikes. After decals and sealing, the Vallejo paints remained somewhat reflective and definitely metallic looking. So there you have it. One spiffy Cold Warrior. There are a variety of products to achieve a bare metal finish, but if you're looking for a no fuss, no muss solution, especially one that's durable, the Vallejo Metal Colors are definitely worth a try. And no, I'm not sponsored by them, but I do like using a few of their products. As for the Galeri GAD 68 airbrush, I really enjoyed using it. It works well for laying down base coats of lacquer, metallic paint, and clear coats. Plus, and this is a big plus, it is very easy to break down and clean. The airbrush comes with 2 sizes of needles and nozzles, 2 sizes of color cups, as well as replacement seals. So yeah, I'm definitely keeping this one. But if you want one, or any other Galeri airbrush, and you want to help my channel, I've placed a link in the description that'll automatically give you a 10% discount. Or if you prefer, you can use discount code 10model when you're on the Galeri website, and you'll get you'll get the same 10% discount when you check out. Well, thanks for watching the video, everyone. I'll soon have a full build of this Kinetic 104, and stay tuned for that one. As always, have fun, keep building, and keep taking risks with your build. Bye for now.